Hello, everybody on the Love, Peace, Harmony Foundation pages, and welcome to Love, Peace, Harmony Pride Live. We are so excited to be here with all of you. Please share in the comments what inspired you to join us today, and please be sure to share this video with your community. And we welcome all of the LGBTQIA plus communities from all around the world to be with us here today. And I'm about to introduce two of our very special hosts who are also going to be sharing with us their journey, their experience, their wisdom about crossing the rainbow bridge between spirituality and sexuality. Now, in the concept of this show, of course, when we say sexuality, we are connecting with sexual orientation and so much more. So I'm really excited to learn more from our special hosts, from their experiences, and again, their wisdom and more. We're also going to be experiencing live a Love, Peace, Harmony meditation. So be sure to stay with us for the hour. And each and every week that you join us for Love, Peace, Harmony Pride Live, which is every month, you are able to be a part of, to experience interviews and conversations around and for the LGBTQIA plus community and the wisdom of love, peace, and harmony, the foundation to heal and transform the world. So we are so excited that you're joining us today. Thank you, whether you're here live now or on the recording. Thank you and welcome. So our special guests, who you may know, are Desiree Lim and Shunya Barton. And Shunya has over 35 years of experience working in nonprofits, serving the community, and we are so honored to have him here with us today, along with Desiree Lim, who is a queer filmmaker whose films have been featured widely around the world and won many different awards, sharing untold stories of the community since the 90s. So without further ado, let us welcome on our hosts that are sharing with us today, Shunya Barton and Desiree. And Desiree is also a Global Love, Peace, Harmony ambassador. She is one of the producers for the Love, Peace, Harmony Foundation video content. And Shunya Barton is one of our global co-directors for the Love, Peace, Harmony Foundation. So we're so excited to have them here with us today, and welcome.
Thank you so much, Alexia. Great to be here.
Thank you, Alexia. Good to be here with you, Shunya. It's always a pleasure and honor to be with you. So today we will talk about our own journeys of how we have navigated our own personal spiritual journey. And I'd love to learn about yours, Shunya. I've heard, over the years off and on about your very personal journey, but I'd love to learn more myself today of how you began your spiritual journey and how you were able to reconcile and perhaps, bridge spirituality with your sexuality. Did you want to start from your story?
Sure. So for me, I was always interested in spirituality, even as a little kid. My family wasn't particularly spiritual, didn't go to church, but I was always interested in God. And so I would go with my friends to their churches. So I went to a whole bunch of different Christian churches, all kinds of Protestant churches and Catholic churches, because I would just tag along with my friends and go. And I was always just interested in that divine presence. And the things that I read in the Bible and that I was taught in Sunday school made total sense to me, that there was a Holy Spirit that was in and around everyone and everything, that the whole 10 Commandments, we should love our I guess the one that resonated the most with me is love God above all else and love thy neighbor as thyself. And it all just seemed like, well, that's just obvious, of course. But I could never figure out why the adults weren't behaving like that. So, so there was this huge disconnect for me as a child between what I was being taught and what I was reading and what I was experiencing in the world around me. And that disconnect became really huge when, as an adolescent, I started to realize that I was gay. I think the other kids figured it out about me way before I did. I think by second grade, I was being treated as different. And by seventh grade, I had figured out, oh my gosh, I'm this thing called gay. There's a word for this, and it means something in the world. And so then trying to reconcile that and putting it against what I was being taught in church, which was this is an abomination. This is, unacceptable on every level. And it really was causing a huge amount of pain and distress. And I remember probably I was about 16 years old, and I was in church on a Sunday morning, and I was praying about this, and I was very distraught, and I was praying for some way out. I mean, some way to just make all this work. And I remember, this is the kinds of, at that point I was going to a United Methodist church, which was like a very upscale, white, proper church. Like, people did not get emotional there. There was no singing and shouting. It was very, yes, we say our prayers and then we go home. It's like we attend church on Sunday because it's the proper, respectable thing to do, and this is what you're supposed to do. So that's the kind of church I was in, but I was like in tears in the aisle, which I have no idea what anyone else was thinking, but I was really in torment. And what happened for me was a very spiritual, profound experience where I heard a clear voice. I was flooded with love, and I heard a clear voice. It was almost like speaking in neon. It was almost like multi-sensory, just saying, you are loved exactly the way you are. And I felt that in every, to the core of my being. And I felt it as a presence of the divine. And it was so clear and unquestionable. And it really transformed my whole relationship to spirituality and my sexual orientation. I knew in the core of me that it was okay. No matter what anybody said, no matter what passages somebody wanted to quote, my relationship with the divine was okay. And I was loved the way that I am. Having that experience has changed all of my spiritual experience from that point forward, and all my life experience from that point forward. So, when it also started, I suppose that I questioned a lot more from that point forward what I was being taught growing up. And because I had to make some sense out of it in some way. And so I began to question more, which also opened my eyes to there's a whole lot of other spiritual perspectives in the world. Not different Christian perspectives that go the whole range from ultra conservative to ultra liberal. And then there's a whole world of other spiritual perspectives. And so I went on, and my minor in college was actually comparative religions. And I
Yeah.
started learning about Buddhism and Taoism and Hinduism and Islam, Judaism, and 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 for me, what was always most interesting is, what do they all have in common?
Mm-hmm.
And I came to the place where I felt like everyone's talking about an experience of something. And that something must be the same thing. You
Right.
know, and I was like, and so the metaphor that I began to adopt for it to make sense in my head is, it's like the 7 blind men that are sent to discover what is an elephant.
Yeah.
And one comes back and says an elephant is like, feels the ear and comes back and says an elephant is like leather. I
Right.
understand what an elephant is. And another comes back and feels the leg and says an elephant is like a tree trunk. I understand what an elephant is. And then another feels the tusk and says, oh, an elephant is like wood. And they all come back with different stories, and they get in a big, huge fight about what an elephant is.
Yeah. And then there are those who don't even accept that there's an elephant in the room at all.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we're all trying to explain the same elephant. And, it's interesting, in scholarly terms, most biblical or religious scholars focus on what's different, what separates this religion from that religion. And in my scholarly pursuits, I was always interested in what's the same. What is the common ground that everyone has? And I think there's much more common ground than there are differences.
Yes, yeah. Thank you for sharing this your story, Shunya, because everything you've shared is what I've experienced. That I think will hopefully also shed more uh, light on this theme of how all religions and all spirituality are actually one. So, if you allow me to share my experience,
Yeah,
is
please.
that I was raised a Buddhist, and in Malaysia, and also the Taoist tradition, is part of the culture. It's not so much that we went to the temple to pray every Sunday or anything like that. It was just very much a part of the fabric of life. We have a Buddhist altar at home, and it's just to us, or to me at least, it's not a separate thing. It's as common as having a dining table in your dining room. That's how integrated spirituality or religion or Buddhism was for me in my family, and I think a lot of Chinese families as well. So growing up as a Buddhist has been very much part of my upbringing. And when I came out, it was I realized that I was gay in my high school, when I had my biggest crush. But because Buddhism is unlike perhaps some other religion like Christianity or other religions that have this very clear uh, doctrine about what gay people are and who they're supposed to be, and all that. So I didn't experience that sort of rejection from my community or spiritual community, or the Buddhist community. However, I did know that it's something that's not acceptable, in society, and in my country. I grew up in a Muslim country. So in Islam, where I come from, it is abominable. You can actually be arrested for being gay. So it's a very it's a very strict culture, conservative culture back in Malaysia. So so to me, it was a very, very, very dark secret that I cannot tell anybody. And back then, we didn't have an internet or anything like that. You didn't even know where to find a community, if there was a community back then at all in Malaysia where I came from. So so I actually didn't find my tribe until actually I left Malaysia and went to Japan and you studied there for my higher education in university, and it's a I guess it's a strange twist of fate that I went to a Christian university founded by the Jesuits in Japan, um, and a friend of mine, we discovered each other, as almost like two lonely people on the planet, who found out that we are gay, and we right away came together and with the idea of starting a gay alliance in this, like, over 200-year-old Christian university, who has never of course even heard of the, like, any gay students ever existed in their history. And of course we were shut down. We wanted to start a group, and we innocently proposed to start a group that will be watching films and discussing the theme of sexuality through films. And I remember, the first event that we held, they at first they didn't want to let us hold it because they thought they were going to be screening some pornographic film or some, films of that nature. And then we convinced them that no, we're going to be screening this documentary to talk about the portrayal of LGBT people in media. So we want to have a meaningful discussion of representation of LGBTQ people in media. And so they reluctantly allow us to do the first screening, but with under supervision. So they actually sent, staff to come and sit in the event to make sure that we're actually going to be screening the film that we're going to screen. So that was my first taste of censorship. And ironically enough, I went to this university to study, guess what, the freedom of speech, which is in journalism. So my major is in journalism, and I actually left Malaysia to pursue a degree in Japan in journalism, exactly because of that reason, because we have no freedom of speech in my country. So it was very ironic that I experienced this censorship and this persecution in my own university, who was supposed to be educating me about the freedom of speech and my human rights. So ultimately we did get to hold the event, but beyond that, they were just trying every single way to not have this group around, and we were eventually shut down. So that was my first experience with censorship and persecution per se, from a religious institution. And since then I've tried, I've always distanced myself from any religious groups, and sadly enough, that really disconnected me, my spirituality, and my sexuality, until I had a spiritual awakening. This is like almost 10 years ago now, when I was actually going through a very tough time in my life, and experiencing some relationship challenges with someone really, really close to me, my best friend. And I was really experiencing, what people call the dark night of the soul, losing any kind of, connection with love and with the heart, and with the verse itself. And it was actually about 6 months prior to that cathartic event that I was guided to actually learn about the life of Jesus. So out of all religious or spiritual leaders in the world, I was guided to learn more about his life, as opposed to learning more about, for example, Buddha, which is the tradition I came from. So I was guided to learn about him, and I studied his life as his historical figure, not through the Bible, but as a historical figure. And I remember feeling really, really touched by his his teachings and his life mission, which is to teach people about love and about forgiveness, and how he forgave the person who betrayed him. And so, of course, without any inkling that 6 months later I would have someone do the same thing to me, which is stab me in the back, and really hurt me really badly. So so when I was in that really desperate, you know darkness, I was really, 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 like, literally on my knees, not knowing what to do, with this deep pain in my heart. And it was like this divine spark, that came into my heart. And just like what you shared, Shunya, in when you heard that voice, that, like it's like a clairvoyant, like, voice, but it's so real. Yeah. Like a loudspeaker that just got turned on, and you didn't even know that the loudspeaker was there in the first place. And this voice said to me, and I knew it was Jesus, said to me, what would Jesus do?
Mm.
And I was, at that time I was so lost that I was so lost, but at the same time, uh, this was so real to me that it almost felt like, this voice was actually in front of me, that I just spoke back to that voice, and I said to because I was so sad, I was so angry, I just spoke back to Jesus and said, but I'm not you,
Mm.
so, and that was the only thing I said to him. But I'm not you. But the conversation continued in a very sacred way, that I suddenly realized that he's asking me to learn how to forgive.
Yeah.
And the next moment, the divine spoke to me as well, and and really, uh, I felt the divine love in my heart, just literally just showering into me, and both of them were so present, and that's how I got back up on my feet, to know um, that I am loved, and no matter who hurts me in my life, and who rejects me in my life, I am always loved. And what really, really struck me from that experience, which totally changed my life. I always share this story with people, reminding people, you know what, I'm not even Christian. I wasn't Christian. I'm still not Christian, even though I love Jesus and I love God. That it really showed me that there are no borders between religions. Like you that's why what you shared about your discovery, in your scholarly studies, that what is the similarity, between all the religions across all traditions? It is just one thing, really, is let us love each other more. Let us
Yes.
put aside all our differences and realize that we're all one. Doesn't matter if you're gay or lesbian or transgender or straight or whatever, color, religion you come from, we are one. Nothing separates us, God loves us, Jesus loves us, even if you're a Buddhist. you know? So that experience literally just changed my life completely, you know and I wasn't really seeking to reconcile my sexuality, with my spirituality, because I never had that um you know experience of being rejected by the Buddhist community myself, per se, other than that experience I had with the church in my school, and but that that did create a disconnect between, spirituality, not religion, but spirituality and sexuality. So that experience really helped me, open my heart to what true love is, in the first place, and what spirituality is really here to teach us.
Yeah. That's thank you for sharing your story. It's it's so beautiful that you had that experience to that was so outside of your come from, that and how you were led to that by studying the life of Jesus. um it I think it's interesting how many LGBTQ people have very profound spiritual experiences and a deep relationship to spirituality, to something greater than, something, let's just say something greater, to some kind of power and presence. And at at the same time, and in my exploration of all of this and trying to make some sense out of it, what I found is that almost every tradition, there's kind of two camps. There's a fundamentalist camp of spirituality that wants rules and order and regulation, and this is right and that's wrong. And generally speaking, LGBTQ falls in the wrong category with that group. So, and it's whether it's Muslim, Buddhist, and Buddhist tends to be more cultural than the religious, but there is that fundamentalist group of Buddhists who believe that being gay or lesbian or transgender is wrong. But then every tradition also has this more mystical side that is more about the essence and the experience, less about the rules and regulations, and about having a more personal connection and a more metaphysical connection that is always more accepting and more willing to look at that and go, I'm not so sure. Or to actually embrace and say, well, of course, like, more progressive Christian churches, like some of the more, most of the Episcopal Church, the United Church of Christ, many Buddhist traditions, very opening and accepting. So it's interesting how it gets played out in so many different ways.
Yes, yeah. And I think it's so important for us to actually be having this conversation and to be sharing our experiences, with our LGBTQ, sisters, brothers, beings, because it really uh, breaks my heart sometimes to see how a lot of our LGBTQ friends have walked away from spirituality because of the pain, the hurt, the trauma that they've experienced in their communities. So my hope, even with doing the love, peace, harmony meditation, and also sharing this with everybody, is to hopefully open their hearts again to receive, the love that is there from the spiritual beings, whatever your belief system is, because they are, as my experience have proved, I don't have to be any kind of religion, a follower
Yeah.
of any kind of religion, to be able to connect to that holy presence, that sacred presence, if we are open to it.
Yeah, I think in so many of people I know in our community have had the experience of seeking a spiritual ground and then finding out that they weren't actually welcome as their whole self. So there's like an open door, and starting to get involved in a church or a temple, and then finding out, oh, even in many people that I know that grew up in America that look to like gurus, only to find out that the guru, oh well, yes, but being homosexual is wrong. It's like, and it's so many people have had the door slammed in their face so many times that I think what happens with many people also is just giving up or turning away in anger, because of, I often talk about weaponizing the Bible, and that's one of the reasons when I share with people about things that work in my life spiritually, I never want to come across as proselytizing, because I've been beaten over the head by the Quran, the Bible, the Torah. I have had people from every tradition tell me I'm wrong and I'm going to hell. And it was actually just that experience that I talked about earlier that gave me the strength to say, I know that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as anybody with the Bible, I'm like, well, then so is everybody else who eats shellfish. So I'm going to have lots of company down there.
You're right.
It's just, you can use spirituality to argue either side of any argument. It doesn't matter whether you use the Torah or the Quran or the sutras. You can pretty much justify anything. You can use the Vedas to justify going to war against people. Or you can be like Gandhi and say, the Vedas tell me I must find peace within myself and never have any violence in my life, let alone cause a war.
Yeah.
So I think we need to look at spirituality as something that is interpreted by human beings.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And,
yeah, sure.
I'll tell you where I got a good perspective. When I lived in Colorado, I worked with a Latina working class lesbian, devout Catholic. And I was just like, girl, how do you put all that together? How do you make sense of all these identities? And she said, from the time I was very young, my mother taught me never confuse the faith of the church with the politics of the church.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, dang, that's a whole new perspective that no one ever taught me growing up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's so well put, because that's exactly the lesson I learned, when I had my experience with Jesus, because ultimately whatever I experienced with the university, it's not Jesus, it was the church, or the school, who decided to apply their prejudice on judging other people for who they are. So that experience was so real to me, and it truly woke me up. It truly woke me up. What I needed to learn from that, and I'm eternally grateful to have had that experience, even with the university, so that I can actually learn. Years later, what the truth is, even though it was through a very painful experience, but it came full circle, and showed me what I needed to see. I've never really been interested, unlike you, I've never really been interested in religion per se. I've always been a spiritual seeker. I love reading books by spiritual leaders, and discover wisdom that you can actually apply, in making our lives better and the world a better place. But not in a religious way per se. I've never really been interested in studying religious text, or that. I love learning about the lives of spiritual leaders, but but not so much, in the text. I mean, that has changed. Now I love absolutely reading, Buddhist sutras and learning about, all the wisdom, teachings of different Buddhas. Um, so yeah, so it ultimately, we what I'm also very grateful for, and I'd like, our audience to know, is that I've to have found this love, peace, harmony community, you know and that embraces people of all religion, people of all faith backgrounds, people of all, stripes of sexuality, and so to me, even though I didn't come from a religious community at all. My religion was actually my LGBTQ community. That was my tribe. And I've always gotten my all my love support, from they're like my adopted family. My LGBT, because I left home when I was 18 and never been with my family since. So my family's always been my adopted family, in the LGBT community. So when I found the Love Peace Harmony community, I was like, oh my God, this is so cool, and the meeting, people like yourself, Shunya, in the Love Peace Harmony community, I knew that I was safe,
Yeah.
knew that I was safe, and our founder, Dr. Master Shah is the most loving spiritual leader I've ever met, and everybody, is loved, um, by him. So I'm very, very grateful for that, and I really would love more of our of our LGBTQ community members to join our community, to spread this love, peace, and harmony, and the message of oneness.
Yeah, for me, I couldn't be part of an organization that wasn't inclusive. And I mean that in all senses of the word. If it's not inclusive of every spiritual background, it's not the right place for me. If it's not inclusive of all cultures, all races, it's not the right place for me. If it's not inclusive of people with all kinds of spiritual backgrounds and no spiritual background, then it's not the right place for me. And when I say love, peace, harmony, world, family, it's big enough to include every human being, whether we agree or disagree on anything. There's love enough for everyone. And everyone is welcome at the table. I remember recently, I live in America. I'm very influenced by what happens in America. And there was I think it was an editorial cartoon that showed a huge table, a huge feast. And it said, when you have more than enough food, build a bigger table, not a bigger wall.
Wow, I love that.
And that's how I feel about Love, Peace, Harmony Foundation. Let's just keep building a bigger and bigger table.
Yes, yes, yes. And the next line is, pass the love, pass the peace, pass the harmony. We're gonna have this big feast of love, peace, and harmony.
And I want everyone to have seconds.
Yes, exactly. What's up for dessert? Yeah, I love that. That is so true. That is so true. And we continue to grow the table, and it's going to be, bigger and bigger and bigger, and with all kinds of feasts that we,
Yeah.
enjoy together. And yeah.
One of the things that I wanted to say is that in my studies, because of the path that I've walked, I've actually met profoundly, deeply spiritual people that I would say have a high degree of enlightenment in every faith who are LGBTQ. So I've seen in living proof how this flower can flower in every spiritual tradition. One of my Buddhist teachers was recognized by the Dalai Lama as being one of 50 Buddhists living compassion in the world. And, he was a out and proud gay man. It exists everywhere. I've known Catholic priests and monks and nuns who are amazingly enlightened. It exists everywhere. So let's take advantage of all the beauty that's there.
Yes. And I can't wait to invite some of these people, to the show for us to continue this conversation of how they also discovered, their spirituality and um, reconciled with their sexuality and the beautiful work that they're doing to continue to expand that table for the world of love, peace, harmony. Yeah,
Yeah,
wonderful.
in the wisdom behind the Love, Peace, Harmony song is a recognition that we are all made up of soul, heart, mind, energy, and matter. And if we leave out the soul part, we're missing a big part of who we are. The
Hmm.
soul being the part that's bigger than our mind, bigger than our emotions, bigger than our physical body, the part of us that is one with everyone and everything, that's totally connected to the whole universe. And I think if we think about it like that, we can all agree there's something there and have a much more expansive experience of self that transcends differences and separation
Hmm.
and brings greater love, peace, and harmony.
Yes, yes, yes. And then the song, the words "join hearts and souls together." That's exactly what it is. Join hearts and souls together, regardless of what faith, religion background that you come from. Yeah. So thank you, Shunya. This is such a deep, profound topic to be talking about, and like I said, I just can't wait to talk more about this and learn more about what other people are doing and their experiences as well in the next few shows that we will be interviewing all these spiritual leaders. So, with that, shall we do the rainbow light meditation and bring the love, the peace, and harmony in. Oh, great! We have a someone, Linda Hamilton. Thank you so much, Linda Hamilton, saying hello. Wonderful conversation, wonderful sharing of your experiences. I hope this conversation helps listeners to be their authentic selves and know they are loved. Yes, that is exactly why we are doing this show today on this theme and topic. Thank you so much, Diane Fujio. We're more alike than different. That's absolutely true. If we can all just look at what we have in common, there will be no wars and no fights in the world. Love, peace, and harmony. It is so important. It is just a fundamental quality that I think we need to, as humanity, reconnect with is what do we have in common as opposed to, what do we have that's different. So, and it would be great to start from spirituality. So thank you so much for your comments and being with us today, and all of you who will be watching the recording. We are very happy that you can join as well. So yes, so Alexia, if you would be so kind to play the Love Peace Harmony instrumental, I invite everybody to join us with a short meditation as we bring this show to a close. Thank you. So let's close our eyes. So sit up straight and feet flat on the ground in a comfortable position. If you're not able to sit up straight, that's okay. You can lie down comfortably. And bring our minds into our lower abdomen to ground ourselves and take a moment to notice how you're feeling at this time. Take a deep breath in all the way to our lower abdomen. And with each breath, we imagine ourselves breathing in golden light. Golden light is a very healing frequency vibration that we can experience, we focus and connect. Just take a few quiet moments to focus on our breath. We're breathing in deeply in our lower abdomen, breathing in the golden light into our lower abdomen. And this golden light fills our lower abdomen with more and more light accumulating in our lower abdomen, shining and radiating bright. Take another deep breath in and relax the crown of your head, relax your face, relax your shoulders, your arms, your hands, relax your hips, relax your legs, your feet, and just relax. And let's now breathe in the golden light into our heart and allow this golden light to light up our hearts in bright golden light. And just open our hearts to connect with this healing field that's being created by this love, peace, harmony song that carries the healing frequencies of love, peace, harmony. Open your heart to connect to the love, peace, harmony song. Allow the melodies to float into your heart in the form of golden healing light, filling our hearts with golden light of love, peace, and harmony. Breathe in the golden light of love, peace, and harmony. Let us connect with the love, peace, harmony song and say hello To the soul of the Love Peace Harmony song, we love you, we honor you, we appreciate you for creating this love, peace, harmony frequency around us. Please fill our hearts with love, peace, and harmony. Breathe in the love, peace, harmony, frequency, vibration into our hearts. And we say hello to the soul of our own hearts. Dear our hearts, we love you, we honor you, we appreciate you. Take a moment to thank our hearts for serving us day in, day out. Every beat of our heart, we are being nourished, we are being sustained, we are given life. Let us send our greatest love and greatest gratitude to our own hearts. Breathe in love, peace, harmony into our hearts. And fill our hearts with the golden light of love, peace, and harmony. And from our hearts, let us extend this love to our entire being. We give ourselves an imaginary bear hug with this love frequency vibration. I love my heart and soul. I love my heart and soul. I love my heart and soul. Let's send ourselves more love for who we truly are and all that we are. We are perfect in this moment as who we are. I love my heart and soul. I love my heart and soul. Awesome. Take another deep breath in and fill our hearts with all the love in this love, peace, harmony field to heal any pain and any hurt in our hearts. Take another deep breath in. Notice how you're feeling. And you thank the Love, Peace, Harmony song. You thank the Love, Peace, Harmony field for all the love that we have received. And gently open your eyes when you're ready. Thank you so much, Shunya, for the opportunity.
Thank you for the beautiful meditation. So peaceful.
Yes, did you want to share anything you felt, saw, experienced?
Um, I was aware of a great deal of healing happening for myself and for everyone. There was like a field that was created that included everyone doing the meditation together. And I could sense a lot of heart healing for different people around the world happening.
Great, yes. That's my experience too. It's very, very touching. And I didn't plan, what kind of meditation we would be doing today. It just came through, you know, in the way which is I thought perfect for today's topic, you know, is to remind ourselves, how loved we are. Yes, yes, yes. So thank you so much. We Let's have Alexia come and share her experience.
Thank you so much, Desiree and Shunya. This has been absolutely so deeply transforming and awakening and powerful. And this meditation, I felt so much light and just this space open up. And throughout this whole show session together, all that you're sharing, about all these beautiful beings, I really felt that love, like that universal love and that presence. And the power of the Love, Peace, Harmony song is just extraordinary. Like playing this song and creating the field so beautifully, like you do, it just opens the heart. It really kind of grounds everything. And it may also be really wonderful to mention for people the rainbow light meditation that you host, Desiree, as well. So we can share that before we close for people who would like to join so that they're able to do this throughout each show, in between each show weekly.
Yes, thank you so much, Alexia. Yes, I'm very grateful and honored to partner with Vancouver's LGBTQ Center here in Vancouver, BC, Canada. Every Saturday, I do this online, 6 o'clock. Well, actually, tonight. If you'd like to join, you can email me at rainbowlightmeditation@community.ca. We can put it in the chat. Uh, Feel free to um, reach out, and I will be happy to send you a link. I always have very beautiful souls who come and join me every week, and they get to experience this themselves. And many people have been able to benefit from also having the song, even after beyond the meditation they have with me, so that they have it with them as a tool for meditation every day, every moment of the day. So, and the Love Peace Harmony song is available on a free app if you go to the App Store. If you're on Android, Google Play, or App Store for the Mac users, you will find Love Peace Harmony song, and you will see this rainbow ball showing up, and that's our app. And you can play the instrumental version, the version with English lyrics, and also even a Hindi version. And you can be playing that any time of the day, and to help you ground yourself. A lot of people have been able to benefit from this song, just to meditate and find more balance, more grounded in their being, and also people even from suffering from depression, anxiety have benefited from this song and more. So thank you so much for the opportunity to share.
We are doing a little reconstruction on the app, so it may or may not be working if you download it right now.
Oh, I see.
But you definitely can download the song at lovepeaceharmony.org/resources. You can always get the song there. And there's also, if you Google Love Peace Harmony song, there's a number of YouTube videos where you
Right.
can find it as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's always places. There's always resources.
Yes. Yes.
And I did want to share with everyone the story that I told today, and a few other inspirational stories are in Journeys Across the Rainbow. This is a book that was published a while back. It's available at Amazon.com. Inspirational stories for the human race from the LGBTQ community. So you can check that out on Amazon if you'd like.
Amazing. We just dropped the link as well for everyone. I know I'm excited to check it out. These are timeless stories of deep wisdom and unity. So I'm very excited.
Great. Thank you so much for everybody for joining the show today. We're very excited to share more with you in the next few shows as we close the year. Oh, thank you so much, Jose, for joining us, and Linda as well. Please share, the recording of this show with especially our LGBTQ friends and allies. So, looking forward to seeing all of you again in November. So, until then, be safe, stay warm, take care, sending you lots of love, peace, and harmony.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye, everyone.